Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham, I'm the therapist.
And today we are here to discuss, finally, the end of Season 18 of Sister Wives. Season 18, Episode 18, Tell All Part 4. We wrapped it up, although not really, because now we have these, wedding episodes and some other filler episodes. But for now, this is the official end of the season. And I'm glad.
A journey. What a journey we've been on. I remember when we recorded those videos when we talked about what the season ahead was going to look like.
We were so excited.
Here we are. We were so young and naive then.
That's right. Oh gosh, we've really aged a lot in these last few months.
Yes.
But anyway, so basically this episode revolves around the debut of David Wooley. And so Suki starts out by asking everybody else what they think of David. So Mary says she has met David and she is excited for them, to be getting married. Janelle says, she's met David. He's a great guy. He's a breath of fresh air. Kody says he has met David for 15 minutes and they had mild conversation, but David mostly talked to Robyn and Robyn thinks he's very sweet. So that's a pretty glowing recommendation. I mean, that's as good as you can get with Kody.
Well, I'm curious because what did you think of David? I mean, we finally got to see David. Are you thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, I definitely think he seems sincere and genuine and sweet. I did not get the feeling that there was anything, no red flags.
Yeah.
And, I was going to say, he obviously, he gets Christine, because Christine's, I realized through these, Christine's a goofball, she's got a lot of energy, and she's quirky, and David seems to, kind of be able to, he compliments that,
Yes.
Whereas I think it irritated Kody.
Yes.
But David seems to think it's endearing.
Yes. No, I do think that they are a better match. I really liked him a lot. I thought that how he handled some of the questions and, the way in which he just the way in which he acted like he knew who she was. right? Like he knew who she was as a person. Like he wasn't going to lie about that. But he wasn't obviously an avid watcher of the show, but he knew of her. So he's not going to pretend that. And he was honest with her about it. And I think that he also I think he's someone who is very diplomatic, because I think the things that he said about Kody were very diplomatic, very diplomatic. And, but you can also see that he also has some issues with some things that bother him. And he just seems like a very good, down to earth, solid person. And he does seem like a very good match for her. So I was like, phew, oh God. Okay. Thank God. Met David Wooley, can check that off. He seems like he seems like they're great. And also he alluded to his first marriage and that it doesn't sound like he was very happy maybe in his first marriage, which kind of makes me sad. So it's almost like both of them are, getting a second chance in a sense.
Well, he said that, he was talking about how he and Christine have really good communication. And he said that he didn't have that in his first marriage. And so his first wife died by suicide. So,
she did. Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that. Oh,
so,
I didn't know that.
Clearly she had depression and probably wasn't good. And they had 8 kids. And, so the consistent caretaking probably all fell to him. And so he had a hard time in that marriage for different reasons,
Yeah. Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised, but, I loved it when Janelle said, "Oh, I hope Christine doesn't get mad." But she said, "Christine told me that she did not know what it was like to be loved like this until she met David." And I was like, "Oh, this is great." Yeah. I'm very, very happy for her.
Well, God, poor Christine. She was so starved affectionately. She said she used to beg Kody to can we just please go somewhere and make out? And he's like, no.
And he wouldn't. Yeah.
No. And, because Christine never kissed anyone before she kissed Kody. She never got to be a horny teenager and dry hump and make out in the back of a car, the poor woman. She just wants to go back and try to have some of these experiences. And Cody's just like, no.
Like once a year for her anniversary. He couldn't even muster it up once a year to do that with her.
No. He didn't like the way she kissed. Yeah, he criticized her kissing, criticized, everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kody was also like a piece of work during this episode, as well as he was throughout the other episodes too. I mean, it was just convoluted. Yeah.
Because we have to go back now, after all that pleasantry about David Wooley, we now have to flash back again to this lunch with Christine at Salsa Brava. And he's talking about how, he was in such a bad place, didn't like Christine, was betrayed because he had invested all this time in her, and how dare she just walk away. And so now there's all these clips where they're watching clips of each other, talking about each other. And Kody says the relationship was bad in Vegas. It was worse in Flagstaff. But after all that, she gives up, she leaves, and she laughs about it and mocks my suffering.
Yeah, he says this one thing. He says, "We suffered and now you're going to quit." It's like, yeah, Kody.
Yeah.
Like, what is the logic in that? That's what was making me crazy. It's like, we suffered. And it's like, yeah. And she decided to end her suffering. She decided to end the suffering for both of you. So,
exactly.
but he's mad at her because she decided to end her suffering. It's like, what? That makes no sense. And he kept saying he wishes Christine, I wish Christine the best, but I want to roll a truck over her.
Don't. Yeah, no, that's
I wish her the best, but I want a truck. I want a truck to hit her. I mean, that's crazy. And that she's like teasing him and that she's a mean girl because this whole thing with him and COVID and being quote unquote on death's door. Well, she's just telling him a simple story about something funny that Gwen said that had nothing to do. She was not laughing at the fact that you had COVID, Kody. No one's laughing at that. she's laughing at something that you said or did, or something funny that was connected to you being sick in some way, shape, or form. It's not about the suffering that you felt being sick. It's just some kind of funny thing. And quite frankly, as someone myself who has gone through some medical issues that were a hell of a lot longer and harder than COVID has ever been, knock on wood, I never get COVID, I'm kind of sick of you talking about this goddamn COVID thing. And the fact that you keep acting like this is Christine laughing at this funny joke is this biggest mean girl thing that she's ever done.
He didn't even let her tell the joke. Yeah, he didn't even let her tell the joke. She started to tell, she's like, oh, Gwen said something so funny. And he's like, it's not funny. It's not funny to me. I was in the fetal position, blah, blah, blah. He didn't even let her complete her sentence. He didn't even know what she was going to say. He just, he's just blaming her. She's ruined my family, all of my dreams, and she's riding off into the sunset. I mean, could you be more dramatic and nuts?
Oh my God. He is. And you know what? When you think about Kody in this moment, and then you think about Robyn and how sour she is, can you imagine what life is like at home there with those two? I mean, do they laugh at anything? Is anything funny to them?
But do you think that that all this stuff is just for the show, and at home they're just like, okay, well, I did that, my little acting job there. And then they just go home and they're normal and they don't really think about these people. But they feel like they have to present this narrative on the show. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but at the same time, I do wonder if Kody is, I don't know. I just feel like he's a real sourpuss. And I think I think Robyn's a real sourpuss. And I think the two of them are two real, negative Nancy victim people who are moaning around their houses being victims. I really do. I don't think it's just for the show.
Yeah. So Christine, of course, has to bring it back to the Disney films, and says that she can identify with the, the villains, or I don't know how she put it, but Cruella de Vil. She's tired. She's basically tired of having to walk on eggshells, tiptoe around Kody, do whatever Kody wants. She can be herself. She said that he only liked her when she was bubbly and fun. And, she'd had to stuff her real feelings down. And, now she doesn't have to do that with David, because if something's wrong, David's mature enough to sit down with her and talk about it, and not flip out about it. Unlike Kody.
And then there was this moment, and I was like, ooh, maybe Kody's taking some accountability. So Sukanya asks him about, the big dream and all of this. And Kody says, well, it is all my fault, this, that my big picture dream is not happening. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And I perked up. I was like, oh, you're taking accountability. And then the next part of the sentence was, for marrying a woman who that I didn't love. And I'm like, are we still talking about Christine? Are you talking about Christine or Mary? Because you've said that you didn't love either of them. Or Janelle.
Right.
Who are we talking about here, Kody?
Could be any of them at this point. Yeah.
So,
and Suki says, ouch.
Yeah. So again, he is blaming. Nothing's ever your fault, Kody. Got it. This big picture dream that was your dream that you came up with, which was just a dream that's it. It's a dream. That's why they call them dreams. Right. That you came up with is all your fault because you married someone because you didn't love them. I mean,
3 people. Ugh. Yeah.
3 people.
Married 3 people who he didn't love. And one of them just wanted him as a piece of meat. I mean, God.
Oh, with his 6-pack abs. Oh my God. Yeah. If you want a drinking game, with this episode, the drink is 6-pack. The word is 6-pack abs. How many times did he say that?
Oh, no less than 6 times. No less than 6.
God.
Anyway, so
he just can't admit that. You know what it is? It's like he is such a child that he can't admit that Christine didn't want him anymore. So he has to say, "I didn't want you first," basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we've heard, then it's starting to get really repetitive.
Yeah.
Christine
Does
says
Robyn want to live plural marriage?
Yeah. And then Kody says that she was a shit sister wife. She'll probably be a good wife to David. It just wasn't a fit.
Well, so one thing that Kody says is, he says, and do you think this is true? So if Christine was in love with David, if Christine, this is Cody's positing this theory. If Christine's really in love with David, she shouldn't be saying anything mean about Robyn. This is Cody's remark. Do you think that's true?
What has she said mean about Robyn?
I don't know.
Since she fell in love with David.
Because I think that her claiming that Robyn doesn't want to live plural marriage, I think Kody takes that as a slam to Robyn, that Robyn wasn't, because it is a criticism of Robyn. It is saying that, like, she does not, she came in and said one thing and really it's not really what she wanted. Come on.
Okay, but so Kody can talk shit about Christine, say whatever he wants, but Christine can't say anything about Robyn. That's a double standard. And what she's saying about Robyn, one, it's just her opinion. Two, there is evidence of that. That she really wasn't interested in living. I mean, look, Kody is going to die on this hill. He is never going to take full responsibility. He's going to continue to blame Christine for the destruction of his big picture. And, everyone's tired of it. Everyone's tired of it. And, and basically Christine is basically saying, just let us go, quit being angry so that maybe we could all get along. Because, if he would just stop being so angry, then they could function as one big family, because they could all still get together for holidays and different things. But as long as Kody is so angry at Christine, at Mary, at Janelle, at all of his children, that will never happen. So he's like the jailer who holds the key to his own jail cell. All he has to do is use it and get out.
Well, and I just thought it was interesting because I was asking you that because I just think it's so interesting. And I'm not defending Kody, but I just think it's so interesting that Kody was saying this idea of, well, Christine can't really be in love with David if she's being mean to Robyn. He's so black and white with his thinking that he really doesn't understand what love means. You can love one person and want to be in this relationship with them and be married to them, and also feel hurt by another person, and also be hurt by this person, and still maybe want to have a relationship with them. Like, Kody is it's that same thing that he keeps going in circles about, where it's like, it's got to be one way or the other way. Like, you're either with me or you're against me. And it's exhausting.
Because multiple things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
It's not just you have to pick a lane.
Yeah.
So then Kody says that he will not take on another wife, because then he would have to tell that woman, I don't love you as much as I love Robyn. And now I know better. So he's basically admitting that, he lied to these other, when Robyn came in, he lied to these other women about, I still love you us just as much. And and America. Yeah. And then Suki asks Robyn, are you happy with just Kody? And she says she wants to say yes, but doesn't know how this works. She doesn't know how to be monogamous. It feels disrespectful to be happy with Kody and be monogamous. And it's like, please.
This was weird. This was so weird. I was like, what are we doing now? I don't get now why she feels like, okay, you guys can be monogamous. Like, she feels like she needs an off-camera blessing from Mary, Christine, permission, and Janelle to say permission. And it's like, why? Is this the religious stuff? I don't understand. I'm so confused.
You know what? It's just a way to drag this out. All of them have said on camera, go be happy. Go live you guys obviously really love each other and get along. Go be happy. All three of them have said that. Why do they need to say it to her in person? They can't say it to her in person because they're not allowed to be around them. You know what I mean?
True.
Like Kody has said, I don't want to be around any of you. So
he'll punch you in the mouth.
Yes, if you say anything bad about Robyn, I'll punch you in the mouth. I wouldn't want to say that in person either. I don't want to be punched in the mouth.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. I guess maybe she just feels like, okay, I got to keep going with this lie. I've been telling people that I feel so bad about this horrible thing, being, that I got to keep going. But anyway, finally, it's time. It's time. We get to meet David. It's very exciting. So, and we already mentioned some of the big things. Married 20 years, wife passed away 11 years, 8 kids, 10 grandkids. And I guess he said he dated, he tasted all the ice cream flavors. He was out and about in the world, and he was at a point where he kind of felt like, maybe I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And he says that she stalked him, but I guess she must have just like pinged him or something. And he knew of her, and they went out, and so the best is he said, well, do you like plays? And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, they're going to see, I don't know, The Iceman Cometh. Or Shakespeare. I don't know. Crazy me. I'm like, oh no, they went to go see The Little Mermaid. Which I interesting that two middle-aged, okay.
Yeah. I saw the Little Mermaid movie, the live action Little Mermaid movie recently. I loved it.
But did you see it?
Yeah.
And who did you see it with?
Oh, I'll give you one guess.
Your child, right?
Yes, my Disney loving child. No, but it really was a good movie. But yeah, the whole timeline with I'm very confused about the timeline with David and Christine, because they give these details so quickly and rapid fire, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And at first, I think it's a lot shorter than, I think Christine was presenting it as being a lot longer than it was. And I think this was very fast, very quick. I think they got engaged very quickly. But, again, they seem to be, she claims that he asked her, do you believe in soulmates? And she says, yes, I think we're soulmates. I mean, she was just like, boom, boom, boom. Like she was just picking up everything,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I will say, I think that the fact that he has had about 11 years to date says a lot. Mm-hmm. So he's had a lot of time to figure out, what do I like? What don't I like? And I think it was good timing on his part, because he was at this point where he was like, I'm just looking for the right person. And, when you meet someone and you get a feeling pretty quickly like, oh, this is different than other people. Like, this is better. And poor Christine, I think she has been alone and in her own head about what she wants for so long that she must have just, I don't know, just like, again, we've said this before, the moment this guy, who she apparently manifested it, because she said what she wanted last year, and he's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So she got it, and she was like, okay, this is what I want. So why not go for it? I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
I'm happy for her.
Yeah, no, they do have a lot in common. And he did say that when he was dating, the one thing I think that turned him off to dating, and maybe he kind of sort of, not gave up, but just kind of thought, I'm not going to actively pursue this. He said, my children come first. And he still has children living at home, I believe. He has 8 kids, so it's like a wide span. He's a grandfather, but I think he also has some kids still at home. And that's wonderful. And that's how Christine is. Her kids come first. They both love Disney. They both, I don't know. That maybe this really is. Maybe they really are soulmates. It kind of sounds like it. Like they complement each other's personality. That I'm sold. Yes. But of course, Kody's watching all these clips, and he's just trying to contain his anger, but he looks pained, and then he goes into his big complaint. Now he's kind of focused in on that scene where Christine was painting at her house with all her kids, and she brings up how basically Kody wasn't attracted to her. And, then McKelty says, well, don't worry about that, Mom. That's his issue. It's not yours. You just need to kind of, don't let that hold you back, move forward. And so I've heard that now, I think that comment is now why once Kody saw that, that's why he and Robyn are no longer, talking to her. And she said on her Patreon, that she hasn't had any contact with either one of them for a while. Yes. That's the trash talking. Every time he says trash talking, she's trash talking me to her kids and getting her kids I think that's the origin of that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And that's the only example of it.
Yeah.
Because
he says at one point, maybe I'm delusional. He says, maybe I'm delusional. And I'm like, yeah, Kody, you're delusional. Yeah. That was crazy. I was like, because I'm like, we watched this clip. We watched this scene with Christine talking and all the kids, they don't even mention Kody. His name doesn't even come into it at all. And the kids are not at all saying anything negative towards Kody. All they are talking about is, Mom, you just, pick yourself up and we think you're beautiful and we think you're great. That's what the whole thing was about. Nobody said one negative thing about Kody. And I'm like, how is this trash talking? How is this? And he thinks she's Machiavellian? She thinks I swear to God, I think he just looked up that word recently too.
Well, no, you know where it comes from? It comes from the manosphere, because I looked this up because he had said it one too many times. And I'm like, you know what? Cody's never read The Prince. He doesn't know who Machiavelli is. That is a term that's used in the manosphere speak, where basically they use it to describe women who are, in their minds, cruel and cunning to them because, oh my gosh, they want child support. They want, they want you to see your kids and, crazy things like that. And so they use this Machiavellian concept of, because The Prince it's not to get too far into this, but it talks about a political philosophy where the ends justify the means, where it's okay to do nasty things and cunning, evil things to get ahead in the political realm if it's for the greater good. So it's like no ethics. It's not about ethics and morality. It's about getting what you want. So they've co-opted this term and they say, oh, okay, well, if women are trying to they're projecting this on saying, if you're trying to get what you want out of me, I'm justified in doing cruel things to you to get what I want.
Wow.
It's very, they've really co-opted it and made it like bastardized it and whatever. But that is a manosphere concept. That's one of their core tenets.
What I think is so interesting about this is that what Mykelti was doing in that moment was she was boosting her mom, giving her a little bit of a pep talk, self-esteem, and it's almost a little bit like, this thing that a lot of these, and I'm not saying it's Kody, I'm just saying that you see this in dysfunctional relationships where someone just kind of keeps you down, right? Making you feel crappy about yourself. And I just think it's really interesting that Christine feeling good about herself, someone telling Christine nice things about herself or feeling good about herself, that is bad. That is cruel. Like that is not okay. So what is Christine to do?
Yeah. And what is Mykelti to do? Say, well, Mom, maybe you were a bad kisser. Of course not.
You're unattractive and ugly, Mom.
Right.
You're terrible. What is she going to say?
I can see why he wasn't attracted to you. I mean, God, yeah, she's just trying to make her mom feel better. And like you can hold two views at the same time. You can try to, boost up your mom and you can also try to support your dad. And you don't have to get like down in the weeds into it and pick sides. You can do both, but not in Kody's world. In Kody's world, it's very black or white. You're either with him or against him. And, he did that shit with Gabe and Garrison. Now he's moving on to Christine's kids. I mean, he holds the key to his own freedom. If he would just be like a reasonable person, none of this would be happening. And then he has the nerve to say that he imagines David coming up to him years later saying, dude, this is nuts, I guess, meaning being Christine's husband, complaining about Christine. He said, because dudes talk about their wives. Oh, you mean trash talking? And and then he says,
Suki actually called him on that shit.
Yeah.
She did a bit.
And he says that, he would, if David came to him and say that, he'd say, well, dude, you got to be loyal to your wife and, you chose that, whatever. And it's like, what fantasy world are you living in? I swear, I think he fantasizes about David Wooley coming to him one day and saying,
he does.
Oh my God.
He does.
You were right, Kody.
Well, you've heard him say it. He says it so many times. If Christine was really in love with David, she wouldn't be trash talking me if this was happening. And so when that didn't work, he moved on to this whole thing like, well, I hope Christine doesn't blow it or reveal her true self to Kody, like this Machiavellian, because she's such a terrible thing. And then when he says that, I was like, good. Suki intervened. She's like, whoa, wait a second. I met David and he's not going to do that. Number one, like I met this guy, that ain't happening.
And he didn't, and he also doesn't think that about you.
Yeah. And he doesn't think that about you. And quite frankly, these people aren't thinking about you that much, but he doesn't think that way about you. And she also said something like, and also, right, we don't talk about and trash talk other people, right? Like, again, Kody, your whole thing, this entire series that we watch, you always said, we don't talk about each other's relationships. We don't get into each otherher's relationships. No, you are the biggest gossip there is. You are the biggest little gossip there is in this family. And you can, I bet you anything when he is outside or when he is like moving logs from one side of Coyote Pass to the other, because I think that's all he does all day and does cameos. He fantasizes about the day that they're on episode 30, season 30. And David comes up to him and says, dude, Christine's terrible. It's like, it's never happening.
No. And, when he said all that stuff about how, Christine has, for David's sake, Christine has to destroy Kody's character, or David doesn't feel like he can marry her because she left a good man, which is a joke. And again, Suki said, that's not true, Kody. He does not feel that way. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, that would be my suspicion. And Suki's like, no, he just said, the marriage didn't work out and I'm meeting this woman where she's at. And we don't talk about you, Kody. Believe it or not. Like, we do not lay in bed at night and think about you or talk about you. We don't.
That's what you're doing, Kody. That's what you're doing.
Right.
But I thought what David said was very diplomatic and very thoughtful. And he just said, he said, Kody is wrong. He basically said, Cody's wrong about Christine. She is not like that. That is not. And I give him props for saying she's not Machiavellian. That's not. And he said, I can read people. Like, I can read people. She can be a little clueless at times about certain things, but I can read people. And I thought this was very astute about what he said. He said, Kody wears his emotions on his sleeves and he wants you to hear him, which is a very coded way of saying, this guy's a little teeny tiny toddler and he's having a little bit of a fit. He wants you to hear him. And I was, yes. And I was like, oh, David gets it. I was like, I like you, David, because you get it. Because he completely understands. He wants you to hear him. Okay. Got it. I was like, that's the moment I was like, I'm signed off on you. I'm shipping this one.
And then Kody doubles down and he says, well, I vetted Robyn. I vetted Robyn hard. Whatever that means. You vetted her hard, all right. He said, because I had to know that she didn't leave a good man before I was going to marry her and take a chance with that. It's like, you didn't vet her. You please, you met her. You just like fell in love. You got a boner for her. What did you do? Did you go interview her ex-husband and his family members and, to find out if he's a good man or not? No, Kody, you did none of that. You just took Robyn's word for it. She told you, oh, I had to leave that marriage because he was so abusive to me. And to this day, we have not seen one piece of evidence from anybody, any family member, anybody, any tabloid, nothing. that he was abusive
that
towards
this guy
her.
is bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
Because it would have come out by now. There would have been something by now
Absolutely.
about this ex.
There'd be a restraining order. Yeah. There'd be some court documents. You know,
Yeah,
it would
there'd
have
be
been in their divorce paperwork.
Oh yeah. You vetted her hard. You vetted her hard in the Lexus convertible. I'm sure you vetted her hard.
Yeah.
Kody.
While your teenage daughters were watching her kids, you were out there vetting her.
You were
parking
vetting her
lot.
really hard. And again, we're back to the same thing because Kody cannot because what all of this means is Cody's not a good man.
Mm-hmm.
Kody cannot handle this. He is not a good he is not a good man, and he just cannot handle that. And then this is when I love David even more when he said, well, one of the things with dating other women that he didn't like, one of the issues that he had was that he said that, you know, I always put my children first. And when I was when I saw this with other women, I didn't like that, you know, and I put my children first. And that he basically was alluding to the fact that Kody also does not put his children first.
Right.
It's like, thank you, David. Good for you.
He's very subtle at telegraphing important information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, David's smart. Oh God. This just went on and on with, like, you know, Kody he was like a dog with a bone. He could not let it go.
Mm-mm.
Like and then he's like, well, she needs to stop telling my children that I'm not a good man. And then once again, Suki says, no, she's not doing that. It was just like, it went on for like 10 minutes. Just this, like Groundhog Day, you know, he can't let it go.
He can't.
It's his identity.
He even made some. Yeah, he even made a comment earlier in the episode about, like, well, this one time my ex-wife and one of my wives, I'm like, trash talked me. I'm like, oh, you're talking about Christine and Janelle? Like, he's just,
you can say their names. It's okay.
Like,
we know.
Coding these things out. God. And then we go into this whole thing about, like, who's invited to the wedding and who's going to be there and who's not. And this little section, I think, was, okay, now we have to promote this wedding special.
Yeah.
And so we all knew this already. Robyn and, obviously Robyn and Kody aren't coming, and their kid and Robyn's kids, and Mary was very diplomatic about it. She really didn't expect to be invited, nor does I think she even care. She's like, I got a carriage house to revamp. I got things to do.
I'm busy.
I got leggings to sell. And we learned that Mary does want to get married again, and she wants to find someone. And Janelle does not foresee reconciling with Kody. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen there. I don't know if they're ever going to officially, like, quote unquote, divorce, because Kody still seems to refer to her as wife, but she still has high regard for him. And I will say, since that one listener of ours pointed out some of Janelle's flaws, it is interesting. Like, you still hold him in high regard even after all of this. Like, okay, you know, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I would think that. I think I might say something to the effect of the person that he once was, or our childhood selves. I think I hold him in high regard, or I will love that person. But who we are now and who I am now, I don't know if I still do. I don't know, because how can you hold this person in high regard, Janelle? How?
Yeah, the way he treated Gabe and Garrison and Savannah, and then the fight. And then, the whole time during COVID. I don't know. Janelle, I don't know. I think she's just going along to get along. Like, Janelle doesn't really get that worked up emotionally. But, backing up, one thing I wanted to say about the wedding invites. So she said, Leon and Audrey are invited. And she said she also invited Cody's mom and his siblings.
Yes.
Which I thought was very interesting. I can't imagine Cody's mom going, because wouldn't that just be, like, in Cody's mind, so disloyal, And I don't know how his siblings feel about him. I'm sure there's different feelings. Like, some siblings probably don't give a shit what Kody thinks. But I thought that was very generous on Christine's part that she still considers them all family and would invite them. But yeah, I think anyone who does go to the wedding is going to be shunned by Kody, don't you?
Maybe, I guess so. I mean, he can't shun his mom. He loves his mom, you know?
Yeah, that's why I think she probably won't go.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if she went. That would be interesting. Well, we'll see on the wedding special if
we'll
she shows
find
up or
out.
not.
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah. But, you know, I don't know. I wasn't that surprised by it because that happens a lot. Like, you know, because she's had a long relationship with him. They had, you know, they built this life. They have kids, you know. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't that surprised, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. So,
okay.
And
so
then we have to
this.
spend,
yeah,
with like, who's everybody's celebrity crush? And then the best is we don't even go back to Robyn. Robyn doesn't even get to tell us who her celebrity crush is. We see Robyn once in this and then she's just gone. You know?
Yeah. They were just like
we don't even bother with her anymore.
Robyn was so, throughout this whole tell-all, was so half comatose. Just, you know, they're probably like, okay, we can't show Robyn anymore. She's just really bringing this whole thing way down. We're trying to have a fun celebrity crush segment and Robyn will just ruin it. So we're just not even going to ask her. We'll ask Kody who her celebrity crush is.
Yeah. Well, now that everybody's single, so now that Christina's manifested her ideal person, so now she's asking Janelle. So Janelle's celebrity crush is Gerard Butler. And then she kind of pushes in Jason Momoa. Yes, that everyone loves. And then Mary's is Matthew McConaughey. And Kody's is Sophia Loren. So that tells you something that he's, you know, likes dark-haired women. And Robyn is Ryan Reynolds. And then this is when Kody then has to remind us that this is why he has to have six-pack abs, because he has to keep up with Matthew McConaughey, Ryan Reynolds. You know how people are always getting like Ryan Reynolds. You know, he's kind
confusing.
of a Ryan Reynolds, Matthew McConaughey, Kody Brown type. You know, in Hollywood, they're always saying that. You know, always getting your abs mixed up, that kind of thing. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. How many times did he say that?
Kody says something so cringeworthy when he's talking about how when 6 years old and he and his mom went to the movie theater to see The Man from La Mancha and he first saw Sophia Loren. Apparently, you know, he that's when he knew he was not gay because I guess he got a boner for Sophia Loren. And it's like, who says that? I mean, he's so inappropriate sometimes. You're just like, we did not need to know that. And that's just stupid.
Yeah. And I don't even think that's what was going on. I think he just thought she was pretty, but I don't even know he even knew what any of that meant. So ridiculous.
Okay, but as a grown man, then why would you just throw that in there? Like, you can tell he's trying to, you know, say something that he thinks is going to make him cool or something. And it's like that. No.
Yeah. No, he's a try hard. He's trying really hard. I mean, he and Robyn, it's been pretty obvious how hard those two try to, you know, constantly change the narrative, make us think that we don't see things with our own eyes. I mean, you know, I think Kody has shown us time and again that he thinks a lot about how people see him and view him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially Christine.
He really, really does. Yeah.
Christine
and he
David.
really, really cares. And so, yeah, he wants us to know that he is straight and he's been straight since 6 years old, or that he's the kind of man that can handle a woman like Sophia Loren, whatever that means. So,
oh God. So then
anyway,
we get a sneak peek at some scenes from the wedding special, which I think is January 7th and 14th, something like that.
Yeah.
And it looks like a good time. People are whooping it up.
Yeah.
Christine was like shotgunning a beer. I mean, I was just like, wow, things have changed in this family.
Back when they were wearing like long sleeve shirts in the 100-degree heat of Vegas.
Exactly.
Life has changed.
It's changed a lot. And there was even a scene of Robyn and Kody where, doing this forced kind of congratulatory, message to David and Christine. So I don't know how much they're going to be in the special. Hopefully not much at all, because I've had enough of them.
Yeah. Well, but we do see that moment that we see of Kody and Robyn. I'm like, oh God, we're seeing actually a personality here with Robyn. Like Robyn saying, and we're very happy for them.
Yeah.
I'm like,
she snapped out of her
person.
Yeah. She snapped out of her coma.
Like a fog. She's woken up.
She's like, well, I played that storyline out as far as I could. So I just got to move on and try to keep a job, try to keep this going.
Yes.
God,
so it'll all be very interesting. So the next couple weeks, I guess, are a lot of like retrospective and all of that. We are going to be, Thursday's show is going to be is it Between Life and Death? The Terry Schiavo story. Yeah.
Yeah. Documentary.
And then next week we're going to have some things for the holiday week as well, and then we'll be back in the new year with more Sister Wives. But we're going to cover the wedding. I just don't think we're not going to cover the filler in between, because I don't think that it's any new content.
Well, we'll
from what I understand, it seems like a lot of retrospective.
Yeah,
if there's new content, we'll cover it. But yeah. But I don't know if it is, because I got the sense of like where we were at. It's a lot of like where we've been, where we're going, where we're at. Like that. And TLC loves that kind of stuff of like, let's show us they're going to show us like Christine's life before and, how we
she
got here
from misery to happiness. Her whole journey.
In 30 years.
30 years later.
Steps.
God, I finally got
you
finally found happiness.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't need that. But yeah, we have some new exciting new content coming out over the next 2 weeks. And then I think we're also trying to cover maybe for the last week of the year, the Real Housewives of New York, the Ultimate Girls Trip Legacy, Roni Legacy. I watched 2 episodes of it last night. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Okay. So I got to catch up.
Coming up. So stay tuned. We're still putting stuff out. And, when you're sick of your family, go in another room and listen to a podcast.
Exactly. All right.
Yes.
We'll wrap it up, Brooke.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like our podcast, if you haven't already, please subscribe. And we would also appreciate it if you would leave us a 5-star rating and review. And we're on social media at Psych Legal Pop on Instagram and TikTok. And we gave you the upcoming schedule. So I think that's it.
Yeah. I think that's
all right.
All right.
Thanks. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellows wherever you get your podcasts.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love, with no artificial sweeteners, only 30 calories, just 5 grams of sugar, and 3 grams of prebiotic fiber. That great Pepsi taste with even more to love. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.